Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I am the Twisted Jedi, and today we are talking about all the confirmed heroes for Star Wars Battlefront 2, as well as getting a look at all of the gameplay clips that we have seen from our favorite characters so far. I will also point out each of the characters' 3 abilities that will be available during the game. With only 8 days until I get my hands on the deluxe edition of the game, I'm starting to get super excited with each passing day, and I want to give you all a heads up. I will be live streaming as much as possible when the game does release. I will be doing separate live streams for multiplayer as well as the single player campaign mode, which I am really excited for. So if those streams are something you'd be interested in watching, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can be alerted when I go live with Battlefront 2. Jumping into the heroes and villains, starting us off is none other than Rey, who was a playable character during the beta. So from this, we know her 3 abilities are Dash Strike, where she charges towards enemies with her lightsaber, Mind Trick, which causes nearby enemies to be dazed and confused, and lastly, Insight, where Rey takes a moment to deeply sense her surroundings, revealing and highlighting all nearby enemies. Kicking it off for the villains is Darth Maul, personally one of my favorite characters from the prequels, even though his role was very limited. Maul's first ability is his spin attack, where he launches himself forward with his lightsaber to slash through enemies. His second ability is the choke hold, where Maul chokes a few enemies at close range and then launches them backwards. And his last ability is Furious Throw, where Maul hurls his lightsaber straight ahead of him and is basically just a spinning saber throw. Next up we have Han Solo, and his 3 abilities include Detonite Charge, where he throws a sticky explosive that can be detonated at will, Sharpshooter, in which Han fires his blaster rapidly for a few seconds, and returning from 2015 as well is the Shoulder Charge, which is pretty self-explanatory. Following Han Solo, we have the bounty hunter Boba Fett. His first ability is called For the Hunt. Boba Fett disappears from enemy radar, gains unlimited jetpack fuel, and acquires insight into the location of nearby enemies. His second ability is Concussion Rocket, where he fires a single rocket that dazes enemies, and last ability is the Rocket Barrage. Small rockets launch from Boba Fett's wrist, which is a huge improvement from 2015 and was really enjoyable to use during the beta. Luke Skywalker also returns from Battlefront 2015, and his abilities include Rush, where he enhances his speed and rushes to the attack, Repulse, where Luke channels the Force outward, knocking down enemies, and his famous Force Push, which we have seen many times before. Personally, I'd like to see an old man skin for Luke post Last Jedi, and possibly in one of the DLCs after the movie releases. I think that could be really cool. Next up, we have his father, Darth Vader, and yes, he looks even better than before, which is amazing. His attacks include Focus Rage, where Vader deals more damage and can absorb more punishment, Saber Throw, which pretty much explains itself, and Force Choke, where Vader uses his iconic Force Choke to lift, damage, and drop enemies. So it gives us some control over the direction the choke goes, which sounds super powerful and really fun to use. The next character up is someone everyone's been begging for, and yes, it's Yoda. Our little green friend's abilities are Dash Attack, where he leaps forward and deals damage as he swings his lightsaber, Unleash, which is basically a powerful Force Push, and Presence, where Yoda heals himself and nearby allies. And yes, I did predict he would have some sort of buff ability, so I'm pretty happy about that one. Now, obviously, having Yoda means we need to have Emperor Palpatine, and his abilities include Chain Lightning, which is practically the same as Battlefront 2015, Dark Aura, which looks amazing as the area around the Emperor is charged with Force energy and it damages and slows down foes, and another new ability called Electrocute, which immobilizes enemies in front of him with electrical energy. Another favorite original trilogy character is up next, and it is Leia, and her abilities include Squad Shield, which is basically the same as the first game, Concussion Grenade, which detonates on impact, blinding and confusing enemies in the blast area, and her last ability, which hasn't been named yet, is where she swaps her blaster for her personal enhanced E11 Assault Blaster, allowing her to clear out enemies with a stream of laser fire. Next up is a similar character, and yes, it is a new character. It's Iden Versio, who is the latest Star Wars universe character, and her Special Forces Stormtrooper abilities include Droid Shield, where the ID-10 droid creates a protective shield around her, Pulse Cannon that fires long-ranged charged shots for heavy damage, and finally Stun Droid, where Iden's droid stuns an enemy and it can be chained to nearby enemies as well. Personally, I'm super excited for Iden in the multiplayer as well as the single player modes. You'll see a lot of her in my live stream. Next up, the smooth talking Lando Calrissian has Smoke Grenade, which he can see through using his Night night vision capability on his X8 sniper. Sharp shot, Lando takes a moment to take focus on up to 5 enemies, delivering a flurry of headshot against each one. And lastly, Disabler. Lando throws out a sticky rebel device which disrupts the radars and communications of enemies and also shocks anyone around it. Back on the dark side is Bosk, the Trandoshan bounty hunter, who has Deoxys grenade, which is a grenade that releases a cloud of poison gas similar to the first game. His predator instincts are back, however it is improved as Bosk gains heat vision and enhanced strength as he loads high damage micro grenades. And lastly, proximity mines, which are sticky mines that detonate on command, similar to Han Solo's detonite charge. And lastly, for our light side heroes is of course Chewie, and his abilities feature multi-shock, where he throws a grenade that can be broken into a cluster of smaller missiles which electrocute the enemies they hit. Heavy slam, which is similar to the first game but it adds a charge before it. And Wookiee Berserker, where he roars and overcharges his bowcaster, enabling him to fire fully charged shots with no charge time, which we did see in The Force Awakens when Han uses it, and it looks very, very cool. Lastly, for the dark side, the character I am looking forward to absolutely the most is Kylo Ren, and his abilities look super powerful. He has Frenzy, where he leaps from enemy to enemy, attacking with his blade. He also has Freeze, which immobilizes enemies in front of him, and we did see that in The Force Awakens as well. And lastly, his final ability is Force Pull, which pulls enemies close to him, which we also did see in the This Is Battlefront 2 trailer featuring John Boyega. I feel like these moves can be super effective when used together, so I can't wait to get my hands on him. That's all for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a thumbs up and comment below which hero or villain you are looking forward to most. And if you want more Star Wars Battlefront 2 content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. As always, I am the Twisted Jedi, and may the Force be with you.